We're going to talk about nested objects today so you understand what's happening when you put an object inside of another object. Okay, the first is that rain video. The other object I'm going to put in here shortly is this bird video right here. That's going to go in there. So either click on that video tab right there, and then I can drag and drop it in there, like so. Where's the nested object? I can drag and drop it in there and it'll be nested inside of it. Or double click on it and then drag it in there. So now I'm going to do it like since I just double clicked on it and did it. And then drag it in there. And now that object is inside of the rain video. Okay, it's inside of the video. So let me play it real quick, and you're going to see another bird shoot through here. So I want to cut that bird out. Go up here and I'm going to cut that. Trim start. And right there. Click cut, and it trims the start of that video. Then I'm going to move it on over here and play it, make sure it's gone. Left click and then hit play. The next thing I want to do is I want to shorten this over to make it the same length as my rain video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my rain video, move my cursor over there because I want it to be the exact length. Now when I double click on that, we see where that's at. And I don't have to worry about trying to feel around for where my cursor is because it's already there. Now all I got to do is select this video, come up here and trim into that video. Trim end. And now it's the exact same length as the other video. Now what we want to do is we want to remove that background from that bird. Then I'm going to select this here rain video to go inside, double click it rather to go inside to the bird video. Then I'm going to select the bird video. I just single clicked it this time. Then go to video effects and go to transparency, come down to background remover, left click. Do I want to apply it to the selected object? Yes, I do. So I'm going to click yes. And I want it for the whole parent duration, and I want to add a new layer. I'm going to go OK. And the background remover goes in there. Now I want to select the background remover. Not that I need to. Again, because it's the only thing in that timeline. So I'm going to come over here to the background remover properties. Come down to where it says chroma key right here. And you see that it's green right now. We're going to click on the eyedropper or the color picker, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to come over here and pick the color we want to remove, which is the blue, the sky. And it's gone. So there we go. I can play it now. The bird is inside of my rain video. Like I said, if you double click it, you see that. Okay? And you realize that the blend mode, this one here on the main timeline, the one that the bird is inside of, this is now the base layer. Contrary to the way that blend modes normally work when you put them on, when you have two objects on separate layers, the one on top becomes the base layer and the one inside becomes the blend layer. Alright, so now you'll see that if I change the blend mode of my bird video, you'll notice that what's going to change is the bird, not the background. You see the bird disappeared when I hit lighten. If I hit darken, he's going to come back. The only thing that's being affected is my bird. It's not affecting the main timeline. It's only affecting what's inside of it, what's inside of the main timeline, or yeah, what's inside of that object. Okay, now you'll notice that if you come back to the scene area and you change the blend mode on that object right there, that object is going to change the whole thing because the bird is inside of it. So it's going to change the whole thing. It's going to change the rain video and it's going to affect the bird video. Okay, so that's plus, minus, it affects the whole thing, multiply. Okay, now there's something else I want to show you. Over here in the properties window, let me select this so its properties comes up. You see over here up at the top underneath the object name, it has composition modes. Composition modes, just like what you have over here in the composition area. You know, blend modes, composition mode. There's some things that I consider different about them, but basically the same thing. The blend modes in the composition area affect the entire layer. So what I'm saying is if I had another object on that layer also, it would affect that object too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up my file explorer again and shrink that down a little bit. And I'm going to bring this video here, and this is another Pexels video that I have, and I'm going to drag that in there and put it right there. Now I'm going to have to reposition it. You see that it went on top, but I don't want it on top. I want it at the end of that one because I want to show you what happens when they're put on the same layer. If we look over here in the composition area, we have our blend modes, all right? If I use the blend modes over here in the composition area, it's going to affect everything on the layer that it's on, you know, everything that's on the layer. So I have blend on here right now. If I change that blend, let's go over here and use, let's use darken. You see it changed that right there, but let's go over here and do something like linear burn. Linear burn, okay, you see what happened with linear burn? Now, if I move my cursor over here, over the top of my bird video, you see that this has been affected. So if I change that to blend, you can see. Blend, see? Then move this back over here, that's back to normal. Now if I do linear burn over here again, you'll see. Okay. So let me put that back on. No, matter of fact, let me leave it there. So, okay. That's got the linear burn on it. That's got the linear burn on it. But now, what I want to show you here, let me unselect both of those, okay? Now, since I got my cursor over my bird right now, let's select the bird, okay? And we're going to use the composition modes that are over here in the properties window. If you come over here and look underneath the object name, and you see composition modes, you see composition modes, and it says use layers properties right now. So what that means is I'm using, if it's using the layers properties, that means it's using these that's over here in this composition area. So I have an arrow here, I drop that drop down right there, and I use the blend mode over here. Let's come down here and let's do contrast. I guess we'll do. Let's do contrast. Where's kind? There it is. Contrast. You see, but this is the interesting thing about this. You see now, if I bring the cursor back over here, you see that's still using linear burn on the bird. And I'll show you, let me put that back on blend so you can see that that is doing that. See, that is like that. The bird is still using blend. And when I bring this back over here, you see that this is still using contrast. Now if I I change that to something else, you see grain merge, I changed it to grain extract. And I can do the same thing over here with this here. I can come over here and change that the lighting for the for the layer, because remember this is using the layer. The rain video is using the layer blend mode. Plus, okay, overlay, but this is still on grain extract. The bird video is still on grain extract. The properties blend modes are object specific. Every object has its own blend modes, which are over here in the properties. Every layer has its own blend modes. They handle everything on the layer, and the ones in the properties box are object specific, so they will override whatever you have over here in the composition mode. In the composition area, if you select the object and use these. Let me change this back here. The other thing about the composition area is that you have the opacity slider over there up at the top. Your opacity slider will affect everything on the layer. Okay, just like that. Your opacity slider affects everything on the layer. So my rain video is transparent. Depends on how far I move my slider over. You cannot control opacity for a specific object unless you put a video effect in there. And so if I let me left click on this one. Left click on my rain video. Come up here, put transparency in there, and make it transparent. Hold parent duration, insert new layer, add new layer, either way. And then click OK, and it made that whole thing transparent. Now, if I go to my blend thing and you see it's full opacity, and I move it down, it's transparent. But if I move my thing over there, that one's fully visible. Okay, so that's the way you get different layers of transparency for objects on the same layer.